Good morning. It's Lisa with Lisa Heal Yourself, and today I want to talk about a very important topic. How can your mind heal your body? Okay, so this is the question we're all asking, right? How do I get my mind to heal my body? And in very simple terms, I'm going to tell you the answer, and then we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about actually how that looks, how to get there. So very simply, health is a state. It's a feeling. So it's a state. It's a state of being, right? So it's not necessarily this thing. It's like you feel good. You feel joy. You feel vibrant. You feel love. You feel happy. You feel alive. You are enjoying things. You have friends, relationships, whatever that looks like to you. It's a state of being, and it's an elevated state of being. So when we think of health, we think of when we have chronic illness, we're thinking, oh, if this pain would go away, I would be healthy. So it's not, or if this disease or this cancer or this autoimmune condition would go away, then I would be healthy. But it's not so much a thing as it is a state. So that thing can't go away until you reach that state, right? So you need to be able to ask yourself, and this is the question that is so important. So really take your listening ears out for this one, because this is really important. You want to ask yourself this question: what is getting in the way of my state of perfect health? And I mean, we're talking what foods are getting in the way, what physical things that you're doing are getting in the way, what lifestyle things are getting in your way, what things in your environment might be getting in your way. But most people stop there. They're like, yeah, okay, I'm just gonna get rid of all the things that are standing in the way of me in perfect health, and I will be feeling this state of health. But you're missing you're missing like 80% of the puzzle, because 80% of the puzzle is your internal feelings, your internal state of being has to feel healthy, right? So we want to, when we ask that question again, we want to say, what is getting in the way of me and my state of perfect health, of feeling that perfect health? Now, I'm sure some of you, even along this journey, have felt a state of perfect health. You've felt a state of elevated joy, happiness, love. It's maybe been a few minutes, it's maybe been an hour here, a day here, whatever. Along your journey, you've remembered. Essentially, your body's remembered. And I know you've said to yourself, oh man, if I could just stay like this, if everything could be like this, or if I could feel like this all the time, I know I would be healed. I know I would get better. So if you've ever thought that, that's a sign that you're on the right track, but you're just not thinking about it the right way. So that is the question, right? How can I reach that state, that elevated state of health internally, not just externally, not just in my environment, like get rid of everything that's in the way, but get rid of everything in the way internally. So how do I get rid of every thought, every pattern, every behavior, every emotion, every whatever that is standing in the way of me and perfect health? So take this in for a minute, because this is so important, and this is the key to healing. If you could get rid of every thought, pattern, subconscious feeling, like anything that you're doing, right? Any kind of thing that you're spinning in your mind, if you could not get rid of it, but if it wasn't there, then you would reach that state of elevated perfect health, right? So we need to find out everything that we're doing, we need to identify first, everything that's getting in the way of you and health, What is getting in the way of you and perfect health? Okay, so now we're going to break this down and really talk about it, because it's not what you think. It's not just turning on a positive attitude. And I'll get into that in just a minute. Okay, so I'm out walking, and this is where I want to talk to you about everything I just said. So the emotions that you feel, if they're negative, or if you have negative patterns, or if you have, right, these negative subconscious patterns that are playing out, you're thinking negatively, you're having a lot of negative emotions, these are going to equate to negative states, right, of being, right, which is the opposite of what you want. So a lot of people then would stand to say, well, then all I need to do is get rid of every negative thought I have, every negative pattern I have, and, you know, change it and just force myself to be positive, right? Think in a positive way. Just ignore, you know, all these thoughts and patterns and feelings and emotions that I have and just focus on good ones, or replace them all with good ones. Yes and no. Okay, so the no part is that you cannot force yourself from a negative state to a positive one, right? Or a negative emotion to a positive emotion, or a negative thought to a positive emotion. I mean, some people can do it, right? You try really hard to replace these thoughts and to like do these things that like just be positive. What ends up happening is we end up thinking that all our negative emotions and our negative patterns and our negative self-talk and these subconscious negative, you know, ways of being are bad. And we internalize that as we are bad. We are bad for having negative thoughts, because happy people and healthy people don't have negative thoughts. They all have positive thoughts and joy and love in their life, and they're always happy, and therefore I must be bad. So we then add on more guilt and shame and negative emotions, right? So this is why that approach often doesn't work. The manifestation and the replacing the negative with the positive in that way doesn't really work for people, and people are confused, because how do you get to a positive thought if you're not just ignoring and replacing the negative thought? So this is what I want to talk about today, because that's not really the case. That's not going to help you. What is going to help you is feeling your emotions. So when we feel them, when we notice that we're having a negative emotion, that we're having a negative subconscious behavior pattern, we're drawn to do these things, we're usually when we're having a pattern, it's subconscious, and it's often just a result of practice, right? So we feel this feeling, and then we start doing these behaviors because we're just in this rut and we're just trying to fix it or solve it, or this is the pattern that we've gotten into. But we can't just force ourselves to have a negative thought or a positive thought or a positive emotion that helps us have a different behavior, right? So the way we do that is we just lay it all down. We just feel our feelings. And what do I mean by that? I mean, remind yourself that these are not bad feelings and emotions. These are not bad for you to be having. These are normal, and these are human. And there's nothing bad about any feeling or thought that you're having or emotion that you're having. This is normal. This is human. You're having a feeling. And usually that thought or that feeling is really a teacher for us. It leads us to where we want to go. So let's just give you an example here. If you are feeling really abandoned or lonely, let's take lonely. You're feeling really left out and lonely. You see everybody and you're thinking, why can't I have that? Why can't I have, a great group of social friends or whatever? I'm always left out, and you start to have these feelings like loneliness. We don't just say, okay, I'm not going to feel lonely. I'm just going to ignore that feeling and try to not feel lonely, because that doesn't help, right? We're just laying on guilt. We're laying on more layers of bad feelings. What we want to do is acknowledge, I feel lonely. Gosh. And then we take a pause. So that's what I mean by the first step is becoming aware. And the second step is just allowing it, feel it. What does loneliness feel like? Where do I feel it in my body? How do I feel it? How do I know it is loneliness? How do I know what loneliness feels like? Where does it come out? Where do I feel it? What shape is it? What color is it? Where does it sit? Is it a heaviness? Does it move? What does loneliness feel like? We just sit with it. And then the next thing is like, we love it. We hold loneliness like our inner 5-year-old child that needs to be held, that needs to be loved, that needs to be comforted, and that needs to be said like, I will love you even if you're lonely. I won't leave you. I'm here for you. So it's this radical self-love and radical self-acceptance and radical, like, unconditional, you will never abandon yourself. Once you do that and you sit with it and you allow loneliness to be felt and just share with you, really how it's feeling, and then to be comforted and loved, now there's a space. Instead of just reacting, which is what we don't want to do, because reacting creates negative subconscious patterns that are bad for us, right? That's really what we're trying to break, is our negative reactions to these feelings and not the feelings themselves. So now there's a space after having been heard, having been felt, having been reassured, right? For us to swoop in and say, what is loneliness trying to teach me? It's trying to tell me that I'm not super happy with my life, that I need more in my life, that I need some close people, I need some close contacts, I need more fun, I need more friends, I need more social time, I need to feel this connection. And now we can take this pause, and instead of reacting, which is like this pattern that's just built for self-protection and to keep us safe, or try to stuff it down and pretend it doesn't exist and replace it with something positive. Now we say, what can loneliness teach us, and what has it taught us in this situation? That we need to get out there, we need to make a change. So now we can make change. We can take action with a positive, like, feeling attached to it. Like, this loneliness is teaching me that I need to reach out and get connection with someone, to open up to someone, to love someone, to let people into my life, to have more joy, to experience more joy, to experience more fun. And now we can take this action that leads us into this positivity. So we are replacing it. So don't you see, we are replacing our negative emotion and our negative thinking of loneliness now with opening up to someone, calling a friend, getting out there, trying to connect more with people. So we are replacing it. We're not just saying don't feel lonely, feel full, and leaving it at that. Like, we're not just replacing it randomly. We're really now able to replace it in a way that gives us what we want and what we actually need. So it fulfills us, right, on this level. It says to us, we are now making a positive change, a positive shift in our life. And we can do this for any emotion. We can do it for anger. We can do it for grief. We can do it for sadness. We can do it with pain. We can do it with physical sensations, right? Like, we don't just say, well, there I go again. I'm a bad human being for having this feeling. I need to replace it with something positive. I need to break all my habits that are standing in the way of me in perfect health. Therefore, I can't feel this. It's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, yeah, you can't continue to feel that way and loop and react, or you won't get to perfect health. But it's not by avoiding what's there. It's acknowledging it, noticing it, right? Listening to it, feeling it. And then going from there, we feel it, we acknowledge it, we notice it, we listen to it, we comfort it, we love it, we remind it that we're here for it, we will not abandon it, and then we learn from it. What can we learn from this anger? How can I react differently? How is it that I can now break this pattern, this negative pattern that's not working for me? I don't want to sit with anger forever. I do want to sit with anger until I love it, until I soothe it, until I remind anger that it's okay, it's normal, it's natural, and I will be there for it. And then I want to say, why am I angry? What does anger feel like for me? Where is it coming from? What does it want from me? What does it wish was different, right? And then we can express things in a different way. We can choose differently. So it is about getting rid of all the negative emotions and feelings and thoughts and patterns that are ruining our life, but not in a bulldozer way where we just say, so therefore I'm going to stuff it inside, pretend it's not happening, and put on a smile on my face and pretend everything's okay. There's no pretending in healing. Okay, there's no pretending in healing. You're either healed or you're not healed. You feel good or you don't feel good. You feel angry or you don't feel angry. But once we start to turn inward and we start to change these things on a deeper level, then we can change what's not working for us into something that does work for us, and that we feel loved, and that we feel heard, and that we feel accepted no matter what. So we suddenly start to shift and change our whole life. And that's what we're trying to get here, right? We do want to break and change everything that keeps us, that is getting in the way of us in this elevated state called health. The only way that we can feel that elevated state is by truly feeling what is in the moment, loving it, accepting it, being there for it, learning from it, growing from it, and then taking action in a way to change it, in a way that's meaningful to us, that in a way that's actually getting us closer to what we want, right? And closer to who we are. So that is how we truly change it, right? It's not just forcing a change that's not ready to be changed, right? So, yeah. Okay, so, but what do you do about the pain, right? What do you do about that physical sensation? That physical sensation that is causing you just to feel it, and you feel it over and over. I know many of you ask this question. Yeah, that's great. I know what to do with my emotions, but what do I do about the pain? Like, what do I do? Like, how do I take what you're trying to tell me? And what do I do? Because all I feel is pain, and I just want it to go away. And like, I hate it. So what do I do? So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the physical pain, or if it's not pain for you, but it's a sensation. Maybe you're having stomach issues, or you're having, whatever it is. You could be having eye problems, whatever your disease, your diagnosis is. Just relate this physical symptom, this physical sensation that is causing you total distress, and let's focus on it. And I'm just going to use the word pain here, but you can substitute anything. So what do you do about the pain, right? The physical pain. The first thing you do is you notice that it's there. And you're like, well, that's easy. I already notice. I'm riveted to it 24 hours a day. Okay, great. So now let's sit with it. But I don't want to sit with it, right? That's what I don't want to do. Exactly. You've been trying to stuff this pain down, to get rid of it, to not hear it, to abolish it, to tell it it's bad, that you're not good enough, that as long as this pain is there, you will never be healed and whole, and your life will be a disaster. Okay, so if any of that's familiar to you, then this is something that you're saying to yourself that's creating negative thoughts and patterns and behaviors beyond just the actual pain itself, which is a negative stimulus, okay? So the negative stimulus is there, all right? And it is causing you all kinds of mental, emotional, and physical distress. And all that distress is bringing down your elevated state, right? Your states are now in fear and anger, in victimhood, in sadness, in grief. You're having all these states that are not aligned with the state of health, right? With health and joy and happiness and love and all these states that you want to get to. So it's the actual physical sensation or the physical pain that is causing, let's put causing in quotation marks, this state. So my question to you is, can you have pain and not be in those states, right? Those states of fear and judgment and criticism and lack and everything, right? Or does pain have to equal those states? I don't know. Let's get comfortable with it. So we're gonna sit and we're gonna say, where's the pain? Let's focus on the pain. Let's feel the pain. Let's let it turn up the volume and say, you don't have to go away. You're not bad. I love you unconditionally. I will not leave you. I will not abandon you. I'm here for you. You're truly not bad. You're here to teach me something. You're here for a reason. I haven't been listening to you, right? I haven't been paying any attention to you. I've been wishing you away. And now I want to hear you, my child, my beautiful 5-year-old inner child who needs me to listen, to sit with it and to tell it it's okay, it's safe, and no matter what, even if you're feeling this way, I will not leave you. I will not forsake you. I will be here through it all. So that may take 5 minutes for you to convince your body of this, or it may take an hour, but you stay with it. You stay with it as long as you need to until you've settled yourself into a true state of feeling more calm and safe in this world, more loved, more accepting, right? So we actually have to stay with that feeling until we can get there. So my question is, yes, the pain, the physical sensation itself is getting in the way of us being able to experience the state of health. But if we take away the pain, right? I know the pain is there, but it's there as a teacher. So what is the pain bringing up? What emotions, what feelings, what wounds is this pain bringing up inside you that is the actual thing? What patterns, right? What subconscious thoughts and patterns and all of it is it bringing up in you that's actually the thing that's keeping you from the state of health? So when that physical pain comes, or that physical sensation, or your anxiety, or your depression, or whatever it is for you, your chronic fatigue syndrome, whatever it is that's overwhelming, okay? And your symptom is unrelenting, right? The first thing we really need to do is accept that it's here. Just look at it. Sit and look at it. We need to stop fighting it, and we need to definitely stop reacting and punishing ourselves for having it. Okay? We need to stop telling ourselves that we're bad, and it means we're never going to heal, and it means we're failures for having this pain, for having this symptom, for having this in our lives. We have to, until we can stop punishing ourselves for this very sensation and everything that it means, we can't begin to heal. Okay, you're holding it against yourself. You're punishing yourself. You're talking badly to yourself. You're resenting yourself. You're angry at yourself, right? You're having these emotional reactions and you're punishing yourself. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to feel it. Acknowledge it, accept that it's here, love it, make space for it to be here. It's the reaction that we want to change, the punishing thoughts that we want to change. We want to make space in that moment to love it, so that after we can love it and settle it a little, we can learn from what it's trying to tell us. What is it trying to tell us? Is the pain so intense that it's making you not be able to go out to work or enjoy your life or connect with anyone? Does it make you want to curl up in a ball and isolate? And is that isolation getting you away from what you want? Is it showing you it's really showing you what you value in life, which is connection. You don't want isolation, you want connection. So it's pointing out, you are not getting any connection here. You're isolating. It's making you do the very thing that is the thing that you actually don't want to do, right? Or is it making you curl up in a ball and cry? So maybe you're having self-esteem issues. You feel like you don't think that you can take care of yourself, that you're not strong enough or worthy enough. Maybe you immediately want to run and tell someone, talk about it. What is that doing for you? You're craving connection. It's showing you don't have enough connection in your life. Positive connecting, things to connect over, people. You're fearful that you don't have enough people in your life who support you unconditionally and love you, and you're craving it and asking for it over and over. So we want to be able to see what it's teaching us so we can learn from it and we can react differently. We can change the way we respond to how we really want to respond, which is, get connection in your life, or feel your feelings, or being able to self-soothe, or take a break, or whatever it is that you're needing and you're not getting. But we can't learn from that in a state of anger with ourselves and punishment to ourselves, or non-acceptance of what is in this moment. Okay, so how does your mind heal your body? And the question that we asked was, what is getting in the way of me and my state of health? And we want to eliminate everything that's in the way, right? And that means all our patterns, all our thoughts, all our emotions, everything that is not lining up with that elevated feeling of health, which is comfort and love and peace and joy and all those feelings, right? So when a symptom comes about and we feel overwhelmed with despair, grief, anger, right? All these feelings. Those are the feelings, those are the patterns, those are the things getting in the way. Now, we don't just eliminate them in the fact that we pretend, right? We pretend that they're not there. We pretend that it's not happening. We pretend that we're happy when we're not. No, we feel it. We allow it. We allow ourselves to really feel what that feels like. And we ask ourselves for it to be a teacher. What do we really need in our life for that feeling not to be here, right? Do we need comfort? Do we need more connection? Do we need more time off? Do we need more calm and peace in our relationships and our life? What do we need, right, for our body to be able to take the step? And so I'm not saying that your symptoms are going to go away overnight, but the more we retrain our brain, the more we retrain our thoughts, and then we make choices and we reprogram our brain for what we want. We're making choices that, like, hey, this is giving me a signal. This is my teacher. This is telling me this about my life. And so therefore I'm going to now take meaningful action to get what I want in my life. And the more we do that, the more we train our minds to come at it with a different elevated state, with a different end goal in mind, when we're in line with our values for what we really want in our heart and in our soul, then we're living our lives in alignment with our own personal truth and what our heart and soul want and what our values are telling us. And when we continue to do that, we're building new patterns, we're moving in the direction that we want for our life, and eventually our body's going to catch up, because that state is going to be authentic, it's going to be real, it's going to be elevated, it's going to be meaningful, it's going to be fulfilling, it's going to push us into our dream life, really. And when we're feeling that way and when we're moving in that direction, everything will catch up to that. So our symptoms will settle, because that's not the life we're leading anymore, right? We're leading a different life when we're moving in a different direction, and when it's authentic and in line with who we are and what our souls really truly want, and our values that we really hold deep in our personal being. When we're following all of that, that's when real change starts to manifest. So it's not just repeating, I am happy, I am happy, I am happy. It's like the real manifestation comes out of the action of doing, with being in alignment with what your soul truly is telling you that you need and want in the moment. And we can only know that when we get quiet, when we feel, when we listen, and then when we take action to change everything that's standing in the way of us and the life that we want. So I hope this video has been helpful, and I will see you in the next one.